There we go. Another day, another opportunity to get stronger and bigger and healthier. All the things. So, game plan for today, we have good old-fashioned arm workout. And this one's gonna be freaking awesome because we got not only the peptides in the mix added this week, but the meditations have been freaking on point lately. And I'm not talking like I feel a little bit in the flow. I feel extremely in the flow. And what I mean by that is, everything's just a little, it's a little easier to concentrate, and then it's a little easier to stay calm at the same time. It's almost like I have like this anchor where I'm just kind of on, I don't want to say on point, but I mean, yeah, you know what? I'm going to own it. I feel on point right now. And it's not even like I'm bragging, this is me at my best kind of on point, even though that may be true. It's more so like I'm just confident that this technique is working. It's kind of like, when you first get into the gym, you have like those newbie gains. It's almost like that every day with Transcendental Meditation. You kind of, like every day is completely different, but the technique stays the same. Pretty similar to, how every lift is going to be a little bit different, but the way that you show up every day to the lift is going to be just a little bit different. And it's kind of like, in that first year of lifting, you just feeling a lot stronger. You gain muscle extremely quickly. I mean, it's awesome. So everything's just been on point. And then on top of that, this was, in my mind, it was a little bit of a mistake yesterday. I had 2 meals, first meal of the day, then I go to do my thing, get my lift in, great back day, and then I have my shake right after, I get my cardio in, but then I didn't eat I finished my lift at about like 4:35 yesterday, and then I didn't eat 4 of my meals until 9, and then I finished them around like 10:30. But that being said, I always say just get all your meals in, so that's what we did. But I was so full that it was hard for me to sleep that night and just kind of calm down after the meals. I mean, it was pretty freaking intense, but lesson learned. I don't really take it back because I definitely would want to get all my meals in rather than not. But that being said, we have another meal on top of the shake, the post-workout shake for today, because I do not want that happening again. But anyways, yeah, we have arms today, and this is going to be a fun one. I mean, like I said, everything's just clicking recently, and then on top of that, we had all those meals from last night. So we're going to be working with quite a bit of nutrients today, to say the least. This is going to be freaking insane. But that being said, we have our usual setup for arm day. We have our forearms first, and then I don't know if it's going to be biceps first or if it's going to be triceps first. You know how I usually roll. I mean, I don't really check the plan until we're there. So, and even then, like, I look at the plan, and my coach is probably not going to be too happy with me saying this, but or maybe he is. You never know. But the plan is more of a consideration more than anything. As long as I'm communicating with my coach about what I'm doing, that's when we can accurately make adjustments so that I'm growing as much as possible. But that guy almost just ran right into me. Yeah, so that's pretty much that's the dealio for today. I'm going to look at the plan, probably follow most of it, but we'll just have to see what goes really well. I mean, I got to be honest, with the last arm day we did, it was at a different gym. So it was the same chain gym, it was just a different location. And at that one, I remember doing a decline bench tricep press. So it was just like a narrow grip barbell press. And having that, man, with the decline was a really nice touch, because it was like I was mimicking, doing, like a tricep pushdown, narrow grip, but I was also just making sure that, I don't know, it's like I was mimicking that movement. I was having a narrow grip, pushing down, but I was doing it in a decline bench, sort of fashion. And that, I mean, it combines two different things. It's like, you don't need to have a ton of core stability, or as much as you would if you were doing like a cable pushdown, but then at the same time, you get, a pretty similar type movement. So that was pretty freaking cool. I really enjoyed that. But at the same time, we had dolphins right after, so we definitely didn't leave anything on the table. And for, people who are new to dolphins, they're basically 30 reps, and then it's segmented into 3 different sections, but it's all one set. So you do 10 reps, kind of like the dolphin motion push down, and then you do 10 reps elbows forward, pushing forward, and then you do 10 reps elbows at your rib cage, and then you're just pushing down. But that way you're targeting every part of the tricep, and then you just get a ton of volume. So doing that after a decline bench tricep press was freaking insane. I mean, my triceps were about to explode, but that was pretty freaking awesome. I heard about, so it started with the podcast that my coach has going, and he was basically saying this has only happened to him once in his life, but basically he had an arm workout or it was some type of workout. I'm pretty sure it was an arm workout, where he literally split his skin. Like it started, I don't want to get too graphic with it, but he basically split his skin. It started bleeding a little bit, and he said he's only experienced that once, where you can literally have skin splitting pumps. And like, I've never experienced that, but that being said, you're probably a walking pharmacy, so you're probably having some aid in that skin splitting effect. But that was pretty freaking cool to hear. I've never personally experienced that, but that would be quite the experience. I mean, I think that's it's like, there are only a few different types of pains where I'm like, okay, that's manageable and that's bearable because of the context. And one of them would be like a skin splitting pump. Like, that would be kind of cool. I mean, a little worrisome, just for my own health. But then the other one would be, I mean, I have scratches on my hands and arms and just random scratches, and they're all from my cat. So, that's the other one where I'm like, okay, that hurt, but you're my son, so I'll let you get a pass for that one. But yeah, anyways, that was a pretty cool story. I don't know, we've been really hammering triceps lately, and I gotta say, I mean, I've really just been enjoying a lot of these workouts, because I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm taking my recovery as serious as the workout goes, because if I don't, I'm just gonna end up extremely tight everywhere, and then my workouts aren't gonna be as good. You gotta have balance, like the yin to the yang. If you don't have your recovery in check, your workouts are probably going to suffer. So, you know, I am super thankful for the massage gun that I have. I was telling my lady about it all morning. It's it is definitely a blessing to have that in my arsenal, because, you know, I don't know how my workouts would go without that, because it's one thing to have a massage gun, it's another thing to have a foam roller. You know, massage guns, they're just easy. You can just sit on the couch, turn on something, you know, even, you know, like YouTube, Netflix, whatever you want. But it's just easy because it's, you know, you're kind of laying there, and then, you know, sometimes you gotta kind of turn over to get certain spots. But, you know, for the most part, it's just to me, it's like the easiest way to get a lot of recovery in. But that being said, I am fully massaged from last night. I did my entire body. So that's why I say that's another thing. This is gonna be a great arm day. I already know. I mean, not only from, you know, just saying it and putting it out into the universe, but also, you know, all the physiological factors are in play right now. My nutrition, the massage. Anyways, I'm just droning on at this point. But that being said, I'll let you know how the arms are going, because I have no clue what to expect yet, but that's kind of part of the fun, right? All right. So, as usual, 2 forearms, 1 tricep, 1 bicep to start everything off. And man, these are feeling freaking good today. You know, I might as well. I think I'm gonna do single arm for everything for the last set, because I've been doing just single arm for forearms, but we're gonna branch out, do same thing for biceps and triceps. So that's the freaking game plan. But man, as I predicted, everything's just panning out really well. So nothing else but just go freaking nuts now. Get some suicide boys on here. Live. No. No. Oh. Oh. Ooh. It's funny. I broke my wrist twice on the left, and so that was a while ago. I mean, that was like, I must have been like 7 or 8. But that being said, forearms on my left is noticeably more difficult. So it's just another imbalance. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh. All right. That's freaking good. Now let's get a... Oh man, I just realized we're doing single arm bicep and tricep too, but yeah, let's freaking move on. Ooh. I notice it's significantly harder if you don't have some kind of wrist attachment. You're kind of gripping it because, you know, you need your forearm for stability, and you don't kind of get that extra support like you would with other kind of handles. So, you know, just something to be aware of. But man, this is kind of dope because I'm basically like putting my elbow, or almost like my tricep, in front of my lat, and then at the same time I'm kind of externally rotating, or just rotating my elbow in, just to make sure I get that extra bit of stretch out of the bicep. So these are these feel good.
Que bendición, a ver, fuera, ¿ah? No, no sabía. Anda fuera el güey que...
No.
El sábado sí.
Alright. That's freaking good. I have no clue what we have next, but let's get to whatever that is. Alright, so Skullcrushers, single arm preacher curl, and then rope tricep pushdown, crazy eights. So this is kind of interesting because I'm a little more used to, you know, taking things into consideration, and then, well, that's not true. I mean, I follow the programs for the most part, but this one was spot on. I know I really need to hammer out my triceps to kind of fix that imbalance with my forearms and biceps, but you know, it's one of those things that, man, when the program works, it works. So that being said, Skullcrusher's here, and then we'll go get some single arm preacher curls over there, and then finish things off with rope tricep pushdown crazy eights. But yeah, this has been a fun one for sure. Let's just we're gonna go pretty freaking nuts with this last set, but we're still gonna keep it within the lighter squeezing realm, just to make sure we're, you know, keeping everything on point with just the triceps. So just let's go freaking nuts. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good. You're all good, man. So I have no clue how my strength is gonna wane on this type of preacher curl. I've been doing it on another type of one. It's a little higher up. You know, the slant is just slightly different, so we'll just see. I mean, it's not gonna be too different, but that being said, this last set, I have no clue what to expect as far as the strength capacity goes. But yeah, let's just rip into it. Come here. Alright, that's freaking good. Let's move on to our last set. Rope tricep pushdown crazy eights. Alright, last set. And it's interesting doing it this way as opposed to the other way. I'll explain. So you could do it, so crazy eights, right? 8 quarter reps, 8 half reps, 8 full reps. You could do it like you start with the stretch. So in other words, you're doing a quarter rep from the top, or you start from the bottom and you start with the squeeze. So since this is a finisher, we're gonna be doing the squeeze portion just to really get some blood pumping in there. But anyways, that's the freaking plan right now. So let's just go freaking nuts. Yeah, you got a little more in there. Oh. Ooh. All right. Whew. Although it wasn't quite skin splitting this arm day, that was almost as close as you could get. So anyways, nothing left to do but go pose, get a shake in, go hit our cardio. All right, so end of an extremely successful arm day. Let's see how we're looking now. So we were about 211 to 212 this morning. I think it was, I don't know, somewhere around there. But that being said, morning weight is much different from evening weight. So we probably put on about like 4 or 5 pounds since then. So just keeping that in mind. All right, so I'm excited to see, when we do prep again, the quality on this camera, because this is going to be, I don't know, it's just a different feel. Like, you kind of get more of an accurate perspective with where you are and where you need to go. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But that being said, not much else to say. Just go hit our cardio, grub, and then, or shake first, cardio, grub, and then probably get a meditation in here. But yeah, great freaking arm day. Oh yeah, that was freaking awesome. Man, where do I even start? Just every part of that workout was, man, what I had wished for, to be completely honest. It was, just short, sweet, but we definitely got the job done. There was quite a bit of tricep movements in there, and like I said before, that's my lagging body part, so that's where we're building up. But man, that was just freaking good, man. I don't really know what else to add to that, other than we just grubbed for a little bit. We had a shake right after our workout, and the thing with having a shake instead of some solid food right after a workout is it definitely does me a lot of good in terms of the fast healing, because I'm mainly going for what's going to give me pretty quick healing right before that cardio session. And I usually don't do my cardio right after my workout, but since I've had the week off from work, my wake up time has just been a little later than before. So that's why we kind of got to combine the sessions and not wake up, do our fasted cardio, and then a few hours later go hit our workout. But that was just, man, just freaking awesome. So like I said, got our shake in right after the workout, and then right after the cardio session, we actually just grubbed. We just had rice, butter, ground beef. That was pretty simple, except extremely effective. And the only reason why I brought a meal with me instead of waiting until I get home, doing my meditation session, and then eating, is mainly because of what I learned from last night. I can combine meals, like 2 meals, easy, depending on the meals. 3 meals, it's pushing it a little bit. 4 meals though, like we did last night, that was just horrendous. That was just too much. I was just way too full. I was up for a little bit after that because it was a lot of food to digest, and especially these meals. I mean, we're back on the off season. It's not like I can get away with downing 4 or 5 meals on a cut, because let's be honest, the cut's a lot easier in terms of getting the food down. There's just a lot less of it. So that being said, we brought a meal and we did what we said we would do. We got it all down, but yeah, I'm feeling a lot better getting all that food in, spacing it out at least a little bit. But yeah, I mean, for the arm workout, man, it wasn't any kind of like Rich Piana 8-hour arm workout, but it was definitely simple and effective. So yeah, I mean, other than that, the latest endeavor that I've been having is I've been kind of, I usually make notes, whenever I kind of have insights from my meditations. It could literally be about anything. Like, for instance, today I kind of had an insight, like, the action is, what makes us, how am I trying to say this? It's more so like, if you want the result, the action is what it takes. And even though that's so simple in concept, you can get kind of bogged down just in meditation. So like, for instance, let's say like your goal for a meditation is to be calm yet concentrated. If you're thinking of different ways to kind of be calm, be concentrated, all these different things, at the end of the day, you're just thinking about it. You're not actually doing it. So that was kind of an interesting insight I had, where, you know, if you want the result, the action is the most important part. I mean, it's, like I said, it's so simple, but, you know, it becomes very clear in those meditations when I'm just supposed to be focusing on the mantra, you know, for the inhales and the exhales. So I kind of came to that insight today, where, you know, you can think of a million different ways to do something to get an end result, but at the end of the day, like, just doing the thing, or, you know, committing to the action, that's probably what's going to give you the best result. So that was pretty cool. I mean, you know, meditation isn't so much about, you know, discovering anything new. You know, it's like maybe sometimes you will, but at the end of the day, like, most of my meditations, they're just reminders of what I already knew, except it's in a different context. And I think that's the most powerful part, is, you know, if you're constantly reminded of all these different things that'll help you get to your goals, then you're only going to get to your goals even quicker. And so that was, I don't know, just kind of a good insight for today. But like I said, or not like I said, but the project that I'm working on, you know, I don't know why I started another project, because I have this other one in the works that I've been working on for, oh, man. All right, sorry about that. The knob on the car mount was just a little too loosey-goosey, but anyways, the power of adaptation, right? But anyways, we got meditation to do, and then we'll grab some more. But that being said, we got to get some work done too, just business stuff. Anyways, appreciate y'all sticking in there. Let's go get this meditation. Let's get this party started. We got 22 minutes, and I mainly do the 2 extra minutes because it takes a little bit to kind of get really into it. It's almost like a warm-up for a workout, where, you know, you want to make sure you're warm and you're primed before getting into anything, and then that ensures that you get, you know, a better pump, more strength. But yeah, and also if you hear any jingling in the background, or just scurrying, or any of that, just know it's my kitten son. So what it is. But that being said, I'm going to set the timer, 22 minutes. Also, if you want to meditate with me with your own personalized transcendental meditation mantra, the description's in the or the prompt, the ChatGPT prompt is in the description below. Just plug that in and then answer the questions accordingly, and it'll give you a personalized transcendental meditation mantra, and you can meditate with me. Zing! All right, so 22 minutes. Let's freaking get this. let the legs rest for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know about you, but legs tend to fall asleep during that. One usually more than the other, but yeah, that was freaking good. I kind of got to like a space of just quiet. It was interesting. It was like I wasn't really, I was listening to the sounds around me, but it was like I was listening past that, like the source of those sounds. So that was pretty freaking cool. But yeah, not really much to add to that. Just, man, staying consistent with this kind of meditation definitely, it has huge benefits. I was thinking about it, and it's almost like, in the gym, like you get these, you get the pump, right? And it's just freaking awesome. Like you just, you're full, you're vascular, you're all these things. Now, the equivalent in meditation would be like you notice it outside of the meditation mainly, like when you're just living life. Like it's like, a stressful thought comes up, or like a negatively stressful thought comes up, I should say, and then boom, you're anchored. Like you're present, you're listening to the thought, you're understanding the thought and where it's coming from. And so that's the kind of pump that I'm talking about, where it's like you are concentrated effortlessly and you're just freaking calm. Like you don't, and it's not like you're really trying to be calm. It's just like you're coming from this place of calm and you're just listening. Like there's nothing in between you and whatever you're listening to. Like it's like you just don't have this impediment in between you. Like for a long time, I kind of grew up and I was just, well, right as I got to like adolescence, I just got like pretty anxious. I would just overthink things, and it became really difficult for me to concentrate. So I think that's why this practice is so powerful for me is, you kind of, like once you experience full, unimpeded concentration with no stress, no anxiety, you're just focused. Like that's the most powerful, that's a powerful pump. Like a mental pump for me that I really freaking enjoy. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. But I don't know. It's just fun. Like I just really enjoy doing this. I started doing it, man, I must have been like 21, like 2021, and I'm 27 now. So it's like you kind of, after years of doing it, it just becomes fun. Like it's kind of like, you go into the gym for the first time and you're like, I don't know about this whole lifting thing. But then you start, curling or, squatting or do whatever. Like you start doing the thing. You start lifting the weights. And then after a while, it's like, oh man, I feel stronger. Oh man, I'm getting bigger. Oh man, I have more energy. So you have all these things that kind of come with it, and it's pretty similar in meditation. It's like, oh man, I'm more focused. Oh man, my anxiety's gone. Oh man, I'm more creative. So I mean, that's just kind of a plus, and it really is as simple as just staying consistent with the technique that works for you. And obviously, I had to go through trial and error to kind of find that Transcendental Meditation was the thing that worked best for me. But, I mean, man, once you find it and you stay consistent with it, life is freaking good. You know, life's always good, but, you know, you just become more aware of how good it really is in every moment. So, yeah, that's about it for me today. But tomorrow, we're heading down to San Jose. Gonna go see my family. We're heading down for Thanksgiving time, so that'll be cool. That'll be fun. But yeah, we got legs tomorrow too, so that's gonna be fun. And then we have chest on Thanksgiving. So, man, it's gonna be a good freaking week, that's for sure. But anyways, I'll see y'all tomorrow for legs and potentially another meditation. So have a good night, my friends. Or day. Wherever, whenever you're seeing this.